name is Michaël Privot. I'm an islamologist. I'm a scientific collaborator at the University of Liège in Belgium, and I'm also the director of the largest European anti-racist network. One of the drivers that is under-researched because most of the researchers in the area of radicalization do not really look into theology and religion. They would look on the political side of religion, like they will look into political ideology, but not necessarily into theology. And this is where I am trying to delve into. But the others are, of course, absolutely crucial as well. I'm, of course, a little bit worried that this approach and these issues of imam training is always approached under the guise of prevention of radicalization, whereas I think it's much broader than that. Of course, training imams and making sure that they are in the capacity to deliver speeches, spiritual coaching, information for their communities, information and training and speeches that are in line with the values and the principles of Europe, and namely fundamental rights, respect of rule of law, gender equality, and of all those kind of principles that are absolutely grounding our societies, would definitely contribute to making our societies more appeased, I think. If we take what I know a little bit better, like the Muslim perspective on the issue, the belonging to a so-called global community of believers that we call the Ummah is something that has a totally different type of level, if I can say, but which is also playing a very important role. So it's not that much the direct link that you would have that is more personal, where the daily interactions with people around you. That kind of link will be more is first imaginary, the link to the Ummah, to this sense of belonging to a world community. It's imaginary, but extremely important in terms of representation. And it will also materialize through social media, for example, because you might be connected to people like you in different parts of Europe, different parts of the world, and sometimes in areas of zones of war, etc. So I think that we have to really be very careful and precise where at which level a specific driver can work, but they are not only working at one specific level. They can work at different levels, as I just showed. And I think that going into this kind of a very granular type of analysis is really key to understand also how those different drivers are playing and interacting at the different level. What might be a little bit, I wouldn't say new, but again, it's maybe like a catalyst, is that we start now to have data on the impact of the different the two confinements on the mental well-being of the general populations. So we see an increase in depressions, burnout. Apparently, suicide rates are also kind of increasing from what I see. So it means that there is really a heightened phase of fragility for all. And of course, we cannot also escape the fact that Muslims, being part of the population, they are also fragilized. And in that sense, this fragilization is opening doors for recruiters. It's also opening doors for people to say, you know what, I mean, life is just shit, so what do I lose in not moving into action? At least it gives again this sense of purpose or things of the like. So that's something that I think we might see increasingly, and it's not only for jihadists. It can also be for people from the far right, from the far left, that are also like at a moment of particular fragility. They might just like undertake actions that otherwise, you would have a number of inhibitors towards violence that might work, and in this specific situation might not work anymore. You have a number of actors in the social cultural sectors that have been trying to rebrand what they were doing under the guise of securitization or prevention of radicalization, just because the money was there and was not in where it used to be. And sometimes that's just not well parametered, not well connected, not well thought through. If you want to cover the full spectrum, then you have to demultiply your workforce. I mean, at some point, it all comes back to human resources, not computers, not algorithm, but people that are able to engage in social interactions at the very local level, the interpersonal connection and so forth. And that has a cost. And as long as we don't want to put that money on the table, in a large part of the prevention policies will fail. The underfunding of those sectors is also having a massive impact on the programs that are being designed for resilience. So it's really like people like taking bits and pieces and trying to make something work that should not work because of the lack of resources, but nevertheless they manage to make something a little bit working. One of the things that I keep on saying is the lack of a holistic approach to that phenomenon. I think for me that's really crucial. So it's very easy for decision makers to say, well, actually, it's an issue of ideology. So if you cut the ideology and behind, when it comes to jihadism, is the issue is Islam, it's a way of saying we have nothing to do with it. That's not our business in a way. And if we do like a school for imams or stuff like this, it's going to be solved. Not at all. However, as long as we don't work on all the other drivers of radicalization, many of them that you are looking into with the CONNEKT project, we are going to have like the engine producing the radicalization patterns in the society, not only for jihadists, but also for all forms of violent radicalization.